Good. Hey, welcome everyone to another weekly version of the Royce Report. Please, if this is your first time here, please hit subscribe. And remember to also hit the bell so you are alerted every week as we post a video on how to enhance your life and your business. I hope you saw last week's video where we went over the business cycle, which included awareness, an introduction, the discussion of the problem, the presentation of the solution, the signing of the contract, the fulfillment of that contract, and follow up and follow through. Today, I have the privilege of having Ted and Ilene of Marketshare, who after seeing the video, they're very good friends of mine. We decided that they would come on this week and provide some wisdom and knowledge on the awareness section and the market section. So great to see you, Ted and Ilene. Good morning, good afternoon, depends upon when people see the video.
Right.
Glad to have you on. How are you today?
Good. Good everything.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much, Todd, for having us. We're very excited about this. And I want to say kudos to that video. You did a super job of summing up in such a succinct and informative way what we all know. You know, if you're in business, you kind of know all that stuff, but the way you described it and the order you put it in was just spot on. It was really great.
Well, I thank you. I very much appreciate it. I do put some effort in these to make sure that it comes across well. You know, sometimes with that Jersey accent, it doesn't always come by play everywhere. But with that all said, I've known Ted and you for a long time, Ted for about 20 years, and I know that you've been knee-deep in the marketing aspects of business, and everyone speaks highly of you. What can you share with the audience on where to begin with the awareness, how to decide where you put your money, the program, and if you could elaborate on that for a little while, I'd sure appreciate it. Thank you.
Me to go? My turn.
Absolutely.
We do this. We do, you know, Gracie and Burns and Allen.
There you go.
Those of you who are old enough to remember them. Well, first of all, we're a marketing strategy, website development, and overall marketing company. But we are a little different than a lot of other companies out there. First of all, I think we're one of the only husband and wife teams that own a company like this. And we have made it, we've been dedicated to working with small and middle market companies and solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, to help them, because when I started the business over 30 years ago, I realized that there were not a lot of marketing and advertising companies that were dedicated to smaller firms, and they had nowhere to go and nobody to look at and talk to for help. And that's how I started it, and we've really kept that mission all through the years. I would say that right now the big thing, of course, is being virtual and being online. And so the most important thing we're trying to emphasize to all of our clients and to people out there is take a good look at your website. Right now, people are looking at websites for information, for products and services. And so a lot of people still have websites that are fairly old, and in cyber time, so to speak, 3 or 4 years could be a really old website.
Now, when you say people should have a website, and I've seen some of your websites and they're great. The question I have is, how do you attract people to your website? Is that part of the plan as well?
The whole concept of marketing is to attract people, to find out more about you, to learn about you, to be able to have a telephone or email available so they can ask more questions and start the process. I would say they get attracted through a variety of different ways. Years ago, it used to be a trade ad, a magazine ad. Of course, word of mouth, people in the business all know you, but this has to be developed over a period of time. For the solopreneur or the person going right into business who don't have the monies to spend on such type of advertising, they have to have something on the web now, especially. So the information is readily available and they can be contacted.
Well, I think what Todd is also asking is, how does your website get found? So
Yes.
That's another question that.
right. So I mean, right now, of course, social media, which we talk about, all of us, I'm pretty sure just about everybody has some understanding of social media. But what we're finding now is people are going to social media to get the information, and that leads you to a person's website, for instance, or their company. It's all customized. It depends on the type of business you are. If you're a B2B company, it's very different than if you're a consumer products company or a local retailer. So you need to find the right social media channel. YouTube, as we all know, is huge. It's the second largest search engine. So we're encouraging people, and this is very easy to do now. You have a cell phone, make videos, talk about your company, talk about your products and services. Don't sell people necessarily, because as you pointed out in your video last week, the first stage of all of this is awareness.
Correct.
So we're encouraging people to use video as a way to make the public aware of what you do, how you do it, why you're different, what the benefits are of working with your company, and feed your audience little tidbits and know where your target audience is. If you know they reside on LinkedIn most of the time, that's where you should be posting. If it's something where Facebook or Instagram is more appropriate, then we encourage them to do that. So it's a little bit of research
to identify who these people are and the best way to appeal to their interests.
So for all those platforms, and I'm not a marketing guru, I'm in the, I handle a lot of the other phases of that business cycle. So are there demographics on businesses and where they focus? For example, if you're selling to an XYZ company or an XYZ industry, are there demographics of where, say, the finance people, the mortgage people are located? So someone would put their ad there. Did that question make sense?
Yeah, of course. I mean, now everything is available. With the advent of Google, years ago, you can literally find anything and everything now. You just, if you want to know where finance people are, you can find out.
You can search it.
Yeah.
It's just put finance people, the location, whether it be a town or a state.
Or social media, what social media they're hanging out on.
There's so many different ways, and you have to actually not depend on only one. You have to check different ways to approach more people. And it's really a game of numbers. More people that you could contact, the more telephone calls to them or emails to them, the more responses you'll get back, and you'll be able to perhaps get a certain amount that will call you back, and then a certain amount will have meetings with you, and therefore you could actually figure out your sales by the amount of new contacts you make. It's all statistical.
Having been in sales my whole life, you still have to come from a point of abundance.
Yes.
That's basically.
Yeah, it's the old filling up the funnel.
Right. So it's a matter of creating an abundance of views or an abundance of people becoming aware of what you do, and then going through the process. I know that, we speak a lot, and you've been sharing with me this tremendous process you have called Scatter. So why don't you share with the audience a little bit? I'll tell you, when you shared this with me, I loved it. I think it's a great concept, the way you've categorized it and organized it. And then why don't we go over Scatter a little bit, and then we get closer to the end of the video. Maybe you can give the audience 1, 2, or 3 little bullet points that they can do to see how their marketing is working and how they can enhance it, please.
Right. All right. I'll start with the first letter of Scatter is S, which I believe should be strategy. What are you doing? What do you want to accomplish? How are you going to identify the people you want to contact? This is all part of strategizing. And it's the most important letter. It's the first letter, of course, in the word. But what it does, it identifies and defines the challenges that you're having regarding marketing of your product. And you could decide the most effective method as well as the actions that are needed to achieve what you want. So strategy is where it all starts.
And at that point, you basically, what we used to say and still do say is create a target audience.
Yes,
Exactly.
Because we all can't serve everything to everybody.
Right. You can't
Exactly.
be everything to everybody. And the other thing, just to go back to the social media, is in trying to, I see, and now I did it again. I lost my train of thought, and I'll come back to it.
It happens all the time. There's a lot going on in the world today, Ilene.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to go to the next letter for
Feel
commitment.
free.
C is for commitment and consensus, because after you've developed a strategy, a plan for what you want to do and how you're going to do it, you need to make sure, especially in a company we work with professional services companies, there are multiple partners or members. You have to get everybody on the same page and have them make a commitment to do this plan of action that you're going to put into place. And that leads us right into the A of scatter, which is the action plan, and getting people to define what their responsibility is and having them be accountable, which is another good A word for it, and then having it done in a timely manner. So that's part of the three most important steps at the beginning. And then we move into, you want to talk about transition?
Absolutely. Once you have people taking action and fixing the process, if it's not working well now, and getting things done that perhaps you've never done before, you start to get a transition away from the old way and moving towards the new. Once this is accomplished, magic is going to happen, and we call that
Transformation.
okay.
That's actually when your company sees a major change. The transition is the part where everyone's getting used to taking this new action, making these new changes. Now your company should be starting to feel this transformation into a new phase. And that leads you to the point where you
then evaluate what you've done. You now have basically a new culture going on in the company. You want to make sure that it's the right one.
And successful.
And successful. If it's unsuccessful, it's not the right one.
That's true.
And you then actually can take the temperature of your organization. Are you running hot? Are you running cold? Are you running successfully? And this is the best way of basically taking a look at what you've already designed.
And accomplished.
And
at that point, you should have positive results. And if you do, we encourage people to, review the results and then repeat, because marketing is ongoing. And the one thing people have often said to us is, can we just do this for a couple of months and then, we'll be done? No.
No, it is a constant, it's like exercising.
Yeah.
Yes, you can exercise for a month or two. The real benefits come if you exercise month after month after month.
Exactly.
Right.
As we wrap this up, could you give the audience just a couple small bullet points they can do for themselves and put them on the right track?
So, one thing that comes to mind, to get back to the social media, because that's really one of the main ways people are being found. If you're on social media, have a strategy. Don't just get on there. It's great to put in a motivational quote once in a while. It's great to say happy Monday or, thank goodness it's Friday. But social media should be part of your marketing program, and there should be a strategy. So I say, ask questions of your audience. Start conversations with them. Get some interaction when you're on social media and give them information that's valuable to them, because that's going to bring them back over and over. That's one thing that I encourage people to do, and anybody can do that. As I said before, the other is do videos. Make videos. It's easy to do. Prop up your phone, have some nice lighting, and talk to people. Keep them short. Post them on your social media. That goes a long way in search. It's tremendous.
Another thing is get clear on your message. What do you want people to think about when your name comes up? what you're all about, what you can do for them. Let's face it, people don't buy products, they buy results.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you get into that mindset that you're not selling a widget, that you're actually offering and selling them something that will give them the result that they want.
It's
And
always
when you
that.
get clear on that, that's what you need.
It's like the old story years ago. People really don't want to drill. They
No.
just want the hole that the drill can
Exactly.
deliver, right?
Exactly. That's the
That's
truth.
exactly the truth.
You know, hey, Ted and Ilene, it is always a pleasure speaking with you. I know we've spoken a lot during the pandemic and even before. We go back a long way. I want to thank you for your time. I know you have a very busy schedule, and I'm glad you could carve out 20 minutes or so for me. And to the audience and Ted and Ilene as well, as always, please be well, be safe, be happy, be successful, and always prepare to win. Ilene and Ted, thank you again and have an outstanding day.
Thank you,
You
Todd.
too.
This
You're
was
welcome. Have a great day now. Bye-bye.
great.
Bye now.
Bye.